Hey guys, I'm finally getting around to my full walkthrough of the Witchbone Tarot. I had to wait until my decks got back from the printer. A few of the decks had to be retouched a little bit. There were a few that had a little bit of flaws. So I finally got my decks back from the printer and I ordered another Witchbone Tarot. So I can show you guys, this is going to be the box. Very similar to the astrology deck. I have the, this is the world artwork on there. Now a little bit about this tarot. This is a tarot that I have dreamed up over the course of about a year, and it explores my idea of the Wicked Wood. Magical, dark, lovely forest. And you'll notice that my color palette has been black and white and red. I always dreamed of a tarot where the red pops through black and white palette. Tagline being, "Welcome to the Wicked Wood, where the roses are black and the apples bleed." So about the guidebook. The guidebook I have decided is going to be a PDF file book that will be available for free to anyone who bought the deck. That way you don't have to worry about buying another book. It's not going to be a really long, in-depth book. I just wanted to kind of put in a little bit of my interpretations and my meanings behind the cards, and a little bit about what inspired me. So when I take you through this walkthrough, I'm going to go ahead and go through a little bit of what I'm going to put in the book on some of the cards. Some of my inspirations for the cards. So we're going to go through the major arcana first, and then I'll go through the rest of the suits. So we have the Fool, and I'm sure you guys have seen the backs too. It's the backs. The Magician, the High Priestess, which is actually a snow leopard, or the ghost cat. The Empress. The Emperor and the Empress, they both work together. I've always kind of associated the Emperor to Pan, the god Pan. He's also the god of beekeeping, as well as many other things. And the honeybee and the red lily just really went together for me, because one of them is divine masculine, the other one is the divine feminine. And they both have to work together. The bee pollinates the flower, so on and so forth. The Hierophant. This is actually a white sycamore that I saw with my husband at our favorite national forest. And through all the pine, there was this one white sycamore. It was really tall and slender, and it was standing alone. And it really made me think it was kind of the wisdom of the forest. So that was my inspiration for the Hierophant. The Lovers. And these are actually the whirling eagles. Eagles will lock talons and whirl to the ground. They will only release until they almost hit the ground. It's kind of an odd ritual that they do. Kind of a courting ritual. The Chariot. For the Chariot, I chose my husband's Mustang Ghost. To me, Ghost will always resemble that unbridled spirit. And when you're working with Ghost, if you have any frustration in you, if you're trying to hurry or rush anything, he will not work with you. You cannot control him. And it's when you work with him, it's such a lesson in life. There are so many things that you can't control. And once you surrender control, life will flow so much easier. And that's the lesson of Ghost. When you give up control, and actually if you give up gadgets, don't try to bridle him, don't try to use ropes or anything, he will work with you so beautifully and so freely. Strength, the wolf spirit. The hermit, owl in the tree. The wheel of fortune. Inspiration for this was actually the web forelog. Justice, the black and white candle, because justice is black and white. The hanged man. The hanged man, my inspiration for this was the snake hanging from a tree. Now, there are plenty of snakes that go in trees versus on the ground to catch their prey. Plenty of them that will hang in a tree all day long looking for their prey. But the thing is, most of the time, they are on the ground. So it is kind of a new perspective for them when they are in a tree. So that was my inspiration for the hanged man. Death. I think I had this image in my head from the very start of this deck about a year ago. And I always loved the idea of the death image of the bones with new life, or a flower coming through it, symbolizing death and rebirth. Temperance. Pure alchemy. All the elements working together. The devil. This was the very first painting for this deck. A lot of people tell me this looks a lot like Black Phillip. The black goat has been a symbol of liberation for me for years. I love the regalness. I love how the goat, specifically the black goat, can invoke so many different opinions and feelings in people. From liberation to fear. So that is what inspired me for the devil. The tower. Obviously, this is not what an actual butterfly chrysalis looks like. But for me, the tower is the ultimate transformation. Hitting your wall and coming back a totally new person. For me, in my life, when I had this tower moment, it was like being reborn again. So that's what inspired the tower. And the star. The moon. And the sun. Now the sun and the star, as you can see, are both elements. I always felt a connection, obviously the sun with fire and the star with water. Judgment. And this is probably my favorite tarot card of any tarot deck. Judgment, to me, whenever I see this card, I immediately think, visit the interior parts of the earth, thou shalt find the hidden stone. We all had to find our hidden stone. So for this card, I have a cave and the hidden stone that we all need to find in ourselves. And the world. This is actually a photo that I took at the forest that my husband and I go to a lot to find serenity. It's our favorite place to go to meditate and just be with the earth. Whenever I go there, I immediately feel the wholeness of the world.